A big shame on you to Faith Odhiambo. You have chosen the few millions of shillings in sitting allowances that you would earn over the great honor that Kenyans had bestowed upon you. Every lawyer knows that when an individual is murdered, the primary and core form of justice is criminal accountability of the perpetrators through criminal prosecution to punish those wrongdoers. In fact, in such a case, compensation is not a form of justice. Compensation is a very secondary remedy that does not directly address the act of violence or the root cause of injustice. The saddest part about this is that there were hundreds of victims who wanted to institute proceedings to claim for compensation, but they could not do it because they lacked postmortem results from the government, and the government deliberately refused to do it because there were orders from above. So how do you claim that you want to compensate victims while you are the one who was impeding the process of getting a data or a number of people who were affected by the same protest? There's no justification that Faith Odhiambo has, because I remember she was appointed as a member of the Public Debt Audit Committee, and she rightfully declined because she stated that, it usurped the role of the Auditor General and it was unconstitutional. So this agency that has been formed is even more unconstitutional than what she had declined. Faith Odhiambo, kindly resign as the President of the Law Society of Kenya. We would like you to concentrate on the mandate that the President has given you. We want another person who respects the Constitution and the rule of law to take over the mandate of leading lawyers in Kenya. Kindly resign from your position.
Good afternoon. Faith Odhiambo. Guys, so she accepted what she accepted. I just have a take. You can be a religious leader, whether a Christian or a Muslim, with a name that's a pastor, reverend, or even a sheikh for 30 years. But on the 31st year, you're caught stealing. People, the same people who used to call you pastor, people who called you the sheikh, they'll not do that anymore. They're going to call you, you guessed it right, a thief. And that is the same thing that I see in Faith. You who took care of your image for the longest time, and the Kenyans have looked at you in a different way. They are not going to see you the same way, because now you are dying on the other side. You can call it whatever you want, but the Kenyans see the compromise that you've given yourself. So I'm just waiting to see this space, because wow, it's going down, man. It's going to go down badly. Somebody is trying to wash their image, but can you do that after the killings that we've seen? Watu wamekufa kama mende. Mende. Na mnataka kuwash. You can't wash it. I don't know. Can you wash death with money? Does it even make sense? Someone is dead, yet you're quantifying death to money. Yeah, let's wait and see. This is becoming interesting. I just hope people are sober enough to see beyond. Peace out.
Rais wa LSK ashambuliwa kwa kukubali majukumu yaliyotengea tume ya KNCHR. Ian. History nakumbuka nikipiga na Edwin Simiyu kipindi kile ambacho rais wa LSK alikuwa anateuliwa bwana kuhusu yale masuala ya compensation kwa wale ambao walihusika katika wale ambao waliathiriwa kwenye maandamano. But my question was, nikiwa na Simiyu, atakubali?
Good question.
Yes.
Good question.
Madam Faith ama wakili Faith. Tatizo swali lilikuwa ni atakubali, na baada ya kukubali kwamba anashakubali na kwamba imekubalika, ashakubali, ni kwamba sasa maswali ni kwamba tumempoteza Faith. Ya kwamba we've lost Faith. Yes.
Lost?
Ili ijaribu kudanganya Wakenya kidogo, imetengeneza kamati ya matanga ambayo inaongozwa na Profesa Makau Mutua, na kamati ambayo itafanya compensation kwa victims. na nimeona wakili President of the Law Society of Kenya Faith Odhiambo ako katika hiyo kamati ambayo wameapishwa jana. Sio mbaya, sisi wa Kenya wanataka victims wakuwe compensated. Victims of police brutality, the people who are abducted, tortured and killed, tunataka wakuwe compensated. But compensation alone without justice is, according to me, is only recruiting the victims to support Ruto or buying their silence. This compensation must be accompanied with justice. And I want to tell Faith Odhiambo, uko kwa hiyo kamati ya matanga. Faith Odhiambo, ukiwa kwa hiyo kamati ya matanga, inafaa usukume hii compensation ikuwa accompanied na justice, ziende pamoja. The compensation must be accompanied with justice. Mtu alipwe na ule mtu ambaye alihusika kuua kijana ashikwe, apelekwe kotini. We want to see all the culprits who are involved in the murder of young people in this country. We want to see them behind bars. We want them to face the full force of the law. We want the victims to get justice. But the compensation alone without justice is buying the silence of the victims, is silencing the victims. Faith Odhiambo, wao umekubali kuwa kwa hiyo kamati, na ukiwa kwa hiyo kamati Faith Odhiambo, usikubali compensation ifanyike bila justice, kwa sababu wewe ni wakili. Weka justice kwa hiyo meza, demand on that table. Faith Odhiambo, you must demand on that table that this compensation must not go on without justice. It must be accompanied by justice. Every victim must be paid and the culprits must be taken to court to face the law. All the culprits must be apprehended.
Well, the court yesterday nullified, stopped, and completely folded William Ruto's agenda to pay the victims of the police brutality. But together with the issues happening around it in the courts, there is Faith Odhiambo, who was the co-chair or the vice chair of the team. Now, how could Faith fall for William Ruto's lies and accept an appointment that she knew very well Parliament was not involved, there was no policy about it, and it was against the law? And she failed to recognize that by Ruto agreeing to pay the victims, the government was actually accepting that they did what they did.
When you look at the face of the Standard newspaper of today, they've written something. They've stated that losing faith. Then they've tried to explain how faith came into the limelight. So far, Faith had been a darling to so many people. And previously, when she rejected the appointment of the president, in fact, that's even escalated things. She has been a very darling to the citizens. Faith has been appointed the panelists that are going to view on how the victims of the last year's maandamano are going to be compensated and some abductions. And people have been castigating her. And initially, people told her to reject that appointment. And I want to ask you this question. Why Faith Odhiambo? Why not any other lawyer from the LSK or any other place? Why Faith? William Ruto want to make sure that by the time we'll be going to 2027 elections, there will be no independent institution that fights for the right of Mwananchi that will be operating from itself. each and every independent institution is going to be compromised. Let me ask you this question. Can you point to me any independent institution that fights for the right of Mwananchi, that stands alone up to today, starting from IPOA to DCI to ESCC, any institution that is independent, including the arms of government, they have been all compromised. And people thought that the LSK was at least the last line that at least could fight for the state abuse on Mwananchi. Now, I have a feeling that the Law Society of Kenya has also been compromised. 2 days ago, I don't know if 2 days ago, 1 day ago, there's somebody who called for Faith resignation. And I'm starting to believe that Faith Adhiambo should resign. And hear me out. Faith Adhiambo is not just an ordinary lawyer. She is the president of the LSK. LSK defends Mwananchi from the state abuse. And in fact, they are being considered as the last line to fight for Mwananchi. Faith Adhiambo is acting as a seal. As you always know, William Ruto, mtamsikiza tu hapa karibuni tu akisema, so naona wale hata wale wa kudefend justice siku hizo wako na sisi very soon. So Faith Adhiambo joining that panel is a betrayal to the people who are fighting for the cause of liberation of this country. And people have rights to ask, because as you can all see that there are so many people in that panel, but why her name only? Why only her name? People don't care any other name. Because the moment Faith sits at that panel, she symbolizes the LSK sitting on that table. And she legitimizes that panel. So I am for the people who are calling for her resignation. Let Faith Adhiambo resign from the LSK president. And as you can all know, there is no institution that has remained that can fight for the right of Mwananchi or can defend Mwananchi from state abuse. So let Faith Adhiambo resign from that position and allow another election to be conducted. That's my take. Have a good day.
Hello, my people. Faith Adhiambo, President LSK. Just imagine that she has really accepted the job offer of being a vice chairman of that committee that will oversee the compensation of the victims of demonstration. Enyewe tunasema, yani kukosa pesa ni kitu mbaya. Faith Adhiambo, many GENZs will be looking after you. Let me tell you, any scandal itatokelezea, the government will fix you. We want you from accepting that offer. You betrayed us. Kwani pesa haitoshi? Faith Adhiambo.